Welcome back to Horoscope TV. Usually when people look at their horoscope, they're kind of looking for a permission slip.
Hmm.
They want to know if it's okay to buy the expensive shoes or, if they're finally going to meet the love of their life at the grocery store.
Right. The stars say yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when we look at the data we have for the zodiac sign of Virgo, specifically for this upcoming week of February 2nd to February 8th, 2026, I feel like we aren't looking for permission at all. We are looking for a survival strategy.
That is the perfect way to frame it. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head. Permission implies you have a choice in the matter.
Yeah.
Looking at the planetary geometry for this specific week, the universe isn't really asking for your opinion. It's dictating terms.
Okay, so we are zooming in today. We are really putting the Virgo experience under the microscope for this first week of February. We've combed through the ephemeris, all the planetary aspect data, the transit charts, just to map out what looks like a fascinating, if a little bumpy ride.
A little bumpy is an understatement.
And just looking at the vibe check for the week, it honestly feels like a 3-act play.
It really does. It's a classic narrative arc, isn't it? You've got the setup, the inciting incident, the crisis, and then, the resolution. If you're a Virgo, or if you have heavy Virgo placements like your moon or your rising sign, this week is going to feel like you're the protagonist in a psychological thriller.
A thriller. Wow. That sounds stressful.
It's high stakes. I mean, the core tension is all happening in the arena of daily habits and health.
The Virgo sweet spot.
Exactly. Their home turf. But narratively, we're moving from this extreme, almost crystalline clarity at the very start of the week, and then we're going straight into a period of genuine electrical chaos, and then landing in this very soft, almost nebulous emotional space by the weekend.
Clarity, chaos, softness.
Yeah.
That is a wild trajectory for just 7 days.
It is, and we have to talk about why this is hitting our Virgo listeners so hard. Because, look, everyone is going to feel the astrology of the week to some degree, but for Virgo, it's visceral. And this is all due to what I'm calling the Mercury factor.
Right, because Mercury is the ruling planet for Virgo.
Exactly. Mercury is the CEO of Virgo Inc. It captains the ship. So when Mercury has a bad day, Virgo has a bad day. That simple.
And this week.
Mercury is running a marathon through a minefield. It's making hard angles. It's getting besieged, which is a technical term we really need to analyze later. And it's changing signs.
So it's just incredibly active.
Incredibly. And because your ruler is the one making all this noise, you as a Virgo are going to feel these transits much more intensely than, say, a Leo or a Sagittarius might.
So it's personal. The planetary weather is really hitting your specific frequency.
It is very personal.
Okay, so our mission for this show is pretty clear then. We need to help our Virgo listeners navigate these disruptions. We need to identify the specific pitfalls, because I am seeing some serious red flags here around technology and travel.
Oh, absolutely.
And we need to make sure they're ready to capitalize on that shift to softness later in the week.
Precisely. It's all about energy management. If you burn all your fuel fighting the chaos on Wednesday, you won't have anything left for the romance on Saturday.
Okay, let's get into the timeline then. Section 1, the general forecast. The week actually starts on a really, really strong note, February 3rd.
Yes, February 3rd is a banner day, a really good day. We have the moon entering your sign, Virgo.
Okay, let's unpack that. For someone who's new to this, moon in your sign sounds nice, but what does that actually do to the Virgo psyche?
So think of the moon as your emotional landscape. It's your internal world, your gut feelings, your bodily needs. Usually the moon is touring all the other parts of the zodiac, so your emotional focus might be on, I don't know, money or family or career.
Right, it's directed outward.
Exactly. But when the moon comes home to your sign, that spotlight turns inward. It's like a somatic reset.
Somatic. You mean physical?
Physical and emotional. For a Virgo who is so often focused on the external details, analyzing the world around them, fixing the spreadsheet, organizing the pantry.
Classic Virgo traits.
All of them. Having the moon in Virgo turns that bright light inward. It gives you this huge boost of emotional clarity. You stop looking at what everyone else is doing wrong, and you suddenly feel very acutely what you are doing and what you need.
So you know what you feel. There's no guesswork.
You know what you feel and you know what you need. It brings a heightened sense of self-awareness. It's a very, very grounding influence. And considering what's coming later in the week, this grounding is essential. It's the calm before the storm.
It's like you're gathering your supplies before the hurricane hits.
That is a great analogy, a perfect one. And you have help doing it. On that very same day, February 3rd, Mercury, your ruler, forms a sextile to Chiron.
A sextile is a positive aspect, right? An opportunity.
Yes, a sextile is a harmonious angle. It's about 60 degrees. It represents opportunity, flow, easy conversation. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer.
The wounded healer.
It represents our deepest insecurities, our old wounds, but also our capacity to heal others through our own experiences.
So Mercury, the planet of communication, is harmonizing with the wounded healer.
Exactly. This creates this incredibly powerful but gentle opening for healing conversations. If there are old misunderstandings, lingering resentments, or just things that have been left unsaid with a partner or a friend, February 3rd is the day to address them.
Okay.
The energy supports vulnerability without that fear of judgment. You can speak your truth and it will be received.
That is really actionable advice. So if you have that awkward email to send or a difficult chat to have with a partner, the message is, do it on Monday or Tuesday.
Absolutely. 100%. Clear the air while the skies are blue, because by February 5th, the weather changes dramatically.
February 5th. I have this day circled in red on my calendar. We have Mercury forming a square to Uranus.
The square. The big one. In astrology, a square is a 90-degree angle. It represents tension, friction, a crossroads where two very different forces collide.
And the forces here are Mercury and Uranus. Tell us about them.
Right. So Mercury is information, travel, routine, technology. It's the logistics of your life. How you get from A to B Uranus is the planet of shock, sudden change, rebellion, electricity. The unexpected, the lightning bolt.
See, when you square them,
You get electrified chaos in your routine. This is the aspect of the glitch.
with the glitch.
Yes, the plan just falling apart. You wake up, you have your day mapped out because you're a Virgo. Of course, you have it mapped out to the minute.
Of course.
And then the car battery is dead, or the internet goes down right before a huge meeting, or your flight is delayed indefinitely.
The data specifically points to plans falling apart, travel delays, and technology breaking. But for a Virgo, this isn't just an annoyance, is it? It feels much deeper. It feels like a total loss of control.
That is the key psychological trigger. You've nailed it. Virgo energy relies on order to feel safe. It's foundational. When Uranus comes in and just smashes that order, it creates a very specific, very potent kind of anxiety. It feels like the ground is moving beneath your feet.
And it's not just the surprise factor. There's another term used for February 5th in the charts that sounds, well, a bit ominous. The malefic besieged aspect.
Yes, this is a traditional astrological term, and it sounds heavy because it is. Besieged literally means to be surrounded by enemies. Imagine a castle under siege.
Okay.
You can't get supplies in, and you can't get people out. You're trapped. In this astrological context, it means the beneficial planets are hemmed in by difficult influences like Mars and Saturn.
That sounds heavy and draining.
It feels heavy. That's the key difference. On February 5th, in addition to the chaotic, electric, frantic energy of Uranus breaking your computer, there's this underlying sense of heaviness or low energy. You might just feel like you're wading through mud.
So you have this frantic energy of things breaking all around you, combined with a physical or emotional sense of I just can't move.
Precisely. It's a recipe for extreme frustration. You want to fix the chaos, but you lack the vitality, the energy to do it effectively.
So what is the advice for that specific day? What do you do?
The advice is, honestly, completely counterintuitive for a Virgo.
Which is?
Just breathe through it. Do not force progress. Don't push. If the computer breaks, don't scream at it. Walk away, get a cup of tea. If the traffic is gridlocked, put on a podcast, maybe this one, and just accept that you are going to be late.
So resistance is futile.
Resisting the disruption on February 5th will only drain you further. You're besieged. You cannot fight your way out. You have to wait out the siege.
Survive the day. Just get through it. Because the energy shifts again right after that.
It does. A big shift. On February 6th, Mercury leaves the analytical, dry air of Aquarius and enters the watery depths of Pisces.
Mercury entering Pisces. And Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo, right? The polar opposite.
It is the polarity point. Virgo is the head, Pisces is the heart, Virgo is the microscope, Pisces is the kaleidoscope. When your ruling planet moves into Pisces, the vibe shifts completely. It goes from analytical to intuitive, from thinking to feeling.
So we move from that chaotic disruption of the midweek into a space that is much softer.
Much softer. But also, and this is key, less controlled. Pisces is about surrender. It's about flow. The strategic advice for the weekend, starting on February 6th, is to let others take the lead.
Oh, that is hard for a Virgo. That's probably the hardest advice you could give.
It is incredibly hard. But your ruling planet is swimming in deep mystical waters now. You aren't the captain of the ship in the same way. You're floating. So, surrender control. Let your partner pick the restaurant. Let the day unfold without a rigid schedule.
So we have this really clear narrative arc. Clarity and healing to start. Then sudden, intense chaos and heaviness in the middle.
Yeah.
Followed by a necessary surrender to the flow by the weekend.
That is the journey of the week for Virgo. In a nutshell.
Let's break this down by category, because I want to get really specific about how this shows up in different areas of life. Let's talk about work and career. The data describes the work week as a minefield.
It is an apt description. It really is. You have to watch where you step.
And the explosions, I'm guessing, are mostly happening around that February 5th date again.
Yes. The Mercury-Uranus square is the primary culprit here. In a work context, this manifests specifically in logistics and communication.
Okay, so travel.
If you are traveling for business, expect delays. I would say, if you have a flight, do not book the tight connection. Absolutely do not.
Give yourself a huge layover.
A huge one. If you're driving to a client meeting, leave 30, maybe even 45 minutes earlier than you think you need to. The probability of an unexpected obstacle, a traffic jam, a detour, a flat tire is statistically very, very high with this aspect.
And deadlines. What about deadlines?
This is crucial. If you are working on a project with a strict deadline that falls around midweek, you need to build in buffer time. You just have to. The charts are screaming that technology might act up.
So computers, internet connections, servers.
All of it. Imagine you are on a Zoom call with your biggest client and your Wi-Fi just dies. Or you're uploading the final critical file and the server crashes. Or your hard drive corrupts.
Okay, you're giving me anxiety just saying that.
I know, I'm sorry. But forewarned is forearmed. The mitigation strategy here is all about preparation. Back up your files to the cloud into an external drive. Save your work every 10 minutes. Do not leave anything to the last second, because the universe is just liable to throw a massive wrench in the gears.
So reacting in the moment is going to be so much harder than preparing ahead of time.
Exactly. Don't be in a position where a simple glitch ruins your week or your reputation.
So is it all bad news for work? Is there any upside?
No, not at all. It's not all doom and gloom. Remember Monday and Tuesday?
The moon in Virgo.
Yes, that is your window of high efficiency. Your superpower window. Because you have that emotional clarity and that intense focus, you can get an incredible amount of work done early in the week.
So the strategy is front load the entire week.
Front load it. Tackle the hardest tasks, the most complex analysis, the stuff that requires your full Virgo brain power on Monday and Tuesday. Get it done. Clear your desk before the Wednesday-Thursday storm hits.
And there's another really interesting aspect on February 4th. Uranus goes direct.
Yes, this is a big deal. Uranus has been retrograde, appearing to move backward in the sky for months. When a planet stations direct, its energy is incredibly potent and forward-moving. It's like a tidal wave of its core themes.
And Uranus is the planet of innovation, genius, the future.
Exactly. So how does a Virgo use that?
How do they?
It's a massive inspiration boost, a lightning bolt of a new idea. It's the perfect time to learn something new. The data specifically suggests taking a course or upgrading your skills.
Like finally learning that new software you've been putting off, or signing up for that seminar on leadership.
Precisely. Even though the technology itself might be frustrating the very next day, the desire to innovate and modernize your workflow is turned on full blast. You might have a light bulb moment on February 4th about how to solve a problem that has been plaguing you for months.
And then what about Friday, after the storm has passed?
By Friday, with Mercury now in Pisces, the analytical brain is tired, it is fried, it's just done. So let the creative side take over.
You have to shift gears.
Don't even try to do spreadsheets on Friday. It's not going to work. Brainstorm, visualize, daydream. Do the tasks that require imagination, not precision.
I love that flow. Grind early, learn midweek, survive the chaos, and then create at the end.
It's a rhythm that works with the planets, rather than trying to fight against them.
Okay, let's move on to money and finance. Is the minefield here too, or is it a different landscape?
It's less of a minefield and more of a slippery slope. The overview shows general stability, but there are definitely specific red flags to watch out for.
I'm guessing we see that Mercury-Uranus square again.
It is everywhere this week. In finance, Uranus is the classic signature of the unexpected expense.
Right. The chart specifically mentioned costs related to vehicles or technology.
Which aligns perfectly with the work forecast, doesn't it? If your computer breaks at work, you might have to buy a new one out of pocket. That's a sudden expense. If your car breaks down on the way to that meeting, that's a repair bill you weren't planning for.
So the main piece of advice is to have that emergency fund ready and accessible.
Liquidity is absolutely key this week. Do not have all your cash tied up in something where you can't get to it quickly. You might need to swipe a card for a sudden, necessary fix.
And travel and education are also highlighted as areas that might cost more than planned.
Yes, maybe that course you want to take has a fee you didn't see, or the flight prices for that business trip suddenly jump just as you go to book. Be prepared for a little bit of sticker shock.
But there is a bright spot on February 4th regarding income. Venus sextile Chiron.
A lovely, lovely bright spot. Venus rules money, values what we attract, and Chiron, as we said, rules healing, but also, in a way, a sense of justice or balancing the scales.
Justice. How so?
Yes. This aspect often suggests that past work, past effort is finally bearing fruit. It's like karmic justice.
So, a delayed reward of some kind?
Exactly. It could be a small bonus you weren't expecting, a gift from someone, or maybe a freelance client finally pays that invoice from 3 months ago. It feels like the universe saying, thank you for your patience. Here you go.
We will always take those wins. Now, what about spending habits? When Mercury moves into Pisces on February 6th, what happens?
Ah, yes. The Pisces influence on the wallet? Pisces is boundless. It dissolves boundaries. And in finance, that can often look like emotional spending.
The data says specifically on a partner.
Yes. You might feel so grateful for your partner after the stressful week, or just so swept up in the romantic, dreamy vibe of the weekend that you want to spoil them. You want to buy the expensive dinner, the lavish gift, the weekend getaway.
And the advice is?
Keep it reasonable. The temptation is to go overboard, to let your emotions guide your spending. The reality is you still have those potential repair bills from earlier in the week to think about.
So you have to balance the heart with the checkbook.
Correct. And a very, very firm warning from all the data. Avoid signing any long-term contracts this week.
Why is that so important?
Because of the sheer volatility. With Mercury square Uranus, you are not seeing the full picture. You just aren't. The terms might change or your circumstances might change suddenly. What looks like a good deal on Wednesday might look like a terrible trap by next Monday. Just wait a week.
High volatility means high risk.
Exactly. Kept the pen in the pocket for now. Don't commit.
Okay, let's talk about health and wellness. This feels like a major theme for the week, since the weekly theme you mentioned was centered on health.
It's central, absolutely. And for Virgo, health is always a priority, but this week the focus is very, very specific.
It starts with that high body awareness on February 3rd.
That's the moon in Virgo again. You are going to feel incredibly connected to your physical vessel. You'll notice every little ache, every boost of energy. The best thing you can do is listen to that signal. Your body is telling you what it needs.
But then we get to midweek and we have the stress response.
The nervous system. This is the key. Mercury rules the nervous system. Uranus rules the electrical impulses in the body. When they square off, it creates a literally fried feeling.
So, anxiety.
High anxiety, twitchiness, a sense of inner vibration. You might feel like you drank 5 espressos when you haven't had any caffeine at all. It's that kind of buzzy, uncomfortable energy.
And for a Virgo, that stress usually goes to one specific place.
The gut. Absolutely. Digestion issues are explicitly mentioned in the data as a high probability if you let the stress get to you. The gut-brain axis is incredibly strong in Virgo.
So if the mind is chaotic, the stomach is going to be chaotic too.
Precisely. They're one and the same this week.
And then on top of that, we have the malefic besieged day on February 5th.
That's where the low energy comes in, feeling under the weather. It isn't necessarily getting sick with a cold, but it's a profound drop in vitality. Your battery is just draining faster than it can charge.
So what's the prescription? What do you do for your health this week?
The dietary advice is incredibly simple. Eat simple. Simple, healthy food. Think soups, steamed vegetables, lean protein. Avoid complex, heavy, spicy meals that tax the digestive system. Your body is already dealing with the enormous stress of the planetary alignment. Don't give it a hard job to do with digestion, too.
So bland can be good.
Bland is medicinal this week, truly.
And what about for the mental health side of things?
As we shift into the weekend and Mercury enters Pisces, the focus naturally turns to mental and spiritual well-being. the data strongly, strongly recommends yoga or stretching.
Why those two specifically?
Because they connect the mind and the body in a very deliberate way. You have all this electric, buzzing Uranus energy stuck in your head. You need to ground it. You need to ground it into your muscles, into the earth. You need to literally stretch out the tension. It's about bringing that energy down from the head space and into the physical space.
You're grounding the electricity.
Exactly. Otherwise, it just stays up there, looping in your brain as anxiety.
Let's move to the heart. Love and relationships.
From friction to flow. That really is the headline here.
The early week tension, it seems tied to that Mercury square again. It's everywhere.
It is. Before February 6th, the atmosphere is prickly. It's tense.
The conflict is described as fights over beliefs or plans.
Yes. I thought we were doing this versus, no, we agreed on that. Little miscommunications about schedules can blow up, or bigger clashes of ideologies.
And there's a specific Virgo pitfall here that's mentioned.
Ah, yes. The need to be right.
Ouch.
It is the shadow side of Virgo's incredible precision. You see the error in the plan and you want to correct it. You see the flaw in the logic and you feel compelled to point it out.
Actually, if you look at the calendar we both agreed to.
Exactly that. And the advice is don't. Just for a few days, avoid the urge to correct your partner during the chaos.
Even if they're wrong.
Especially if they're wrong. Because the energy is so volatile, a small, well-meaning correction can explode into a massive, week-ruining argument because everyone's nerves are completely frayed.
So bite your tongue.
Bite your tongue. Let it slide. Wait for the shift.
The turning point on February 6th.
Mercury enters your partnership sector. This is that beautiful Pisces influence again.
It softens communication.
It completely dissolves the need to be right and replaces it with a deep need to connect. Empathy increases exponentially. You become willing to listen, not just to analyze the data of what they're saying, but to actually hear the emotion behind it.
That is a beautiful and necessary shift.
It saves the week, honestly. It's the release valve.
But the weekend holds one more surprise. February 8th. Venus squares Uranus.
This square again, but this time it's Venus, the planet of love and pleasure, getting zapped by Uranus, the planet of surprise.
Oh, the unexpected.
Yes. And this can manifest in two very different ways. On the one hand, a routine date night might turn into a spontaneous wild adventure. You think you're going to the movies and you end up at a neon mini golf course at midnight.
That sounds pretty fun, actually.
It can be, but the other manifestation is plans getting canceled at the last minute. Sudden reversals. The restaurant lost your reservation. The friend who was supposed to join you gets sick.
And for a Virgo, a canceled plan is painful. It's very destabilizing.
It triggers that anxiety all over again. But the strategy is explicit. Go with the flow.
Do not stress over the details.
If the reservation is lost, laugh about it and grab a slice of pizza. If the movie is sold out, go for a long walk instead. The magic this weekend is in the improvisation. If you try to rigidly enforce the original plan, you will be miserable. But if you surf the wave of the unexpected, you might have one of the best nights of your life.
So it's a test of flexibility, the final exam of the week.
It really is.
Okay, we have covered the main areas of life in incredible detail. Now I want to get into the toolkit. These are the specific actionable details, the colors, dates, numbers.
The cheat sheet for the week.
Let's start with the color of the week. It is navy.
Navy blue. Hex code hashtag 0000000 for any of the digital designers out there listening.
Why navy? What does that color do for us this week?
Think about the energy of the week. It's chaotic, it's electric, it's a bit ungrounded. Navy is a color of deep authority, stability, and seriousness. It's almost black, but with a touch of emotion, a touch of water. It's the color of the deep, calm ocean, not the stormy surface.
It feels very anchoring.
It is. Wearing navy is a way to signal to yourself and to others, I am calm, I am steady, I am the authority in this chaotic situation. It creates a kind of energetic boundary against the frantic bright lights of Uranus.
So wear the navy blazer to the big meeting or the navy sweater when you're feeling stressed.
Wrap yourself in it. It's like a shield.
Best dates. We've mentioned them, but let's just reiterate them clearly.
February 3rd and February 4th.
Monday and Tuesday.
Those are your power days. Action, clarity, efficiency, healing conversations. Do not waste them on trivial things.
Lucky numbers. I'm going to read these slowly for anyone taking notes. There are 4, 5, 14, 23, 32, and 41.
A lot of 4s and 5s in there, did you notice?
I did. It's an interesting pattern. 1 plus 4 is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 plus 1 is 5. The number 5 is everywhere.
And the number 5 is the number associated with Mercury. It represents change, movement, versatility, communication. It makes perfect sense that the number 5 is vibrating all through this Mercury-heavy week.
So maybe look for those patterns. I always say, maybe don't bet the farm on the lottery with these numbers, but if you see them on a clock or an address, take it as a little wink from the universe.
Exactly. It's a signal that you're on the right track, even in the chaos.
Now, this is my favorite part. The compatibility analysis, the anchor versus the mirror.
Yes, this is so crucial for navigating the social landscape of the week, who to lean on and who to maybe give some space.
The best match for Virgo this week is Capricorn.
The sea goat, the steady rock.
Why are they the MVP for Virgo this week?
Because they are an earth sign, just like Virgo. So they speak the same fundamental language of practicality and order, but the dynamic is special this week.
How so?
When a Virgo stresses, they stress about the details. The font is wrong on slide 7. The tire is too PSI low. The email wasn't sent at exactly 9:00 a.m. It's a microscopic anxiety.
Right.
Capricorn is macroscopic. They see the whole mountaintop. They don't get lost in the pebbles on the path.
So they provide that much-needed perspective.
They look at the frantic Virgo and they calmly say, it's one slide, keep climbing, it will be fine. They are the steady hand on your back.
And practically speaking.
They are fixers. The data says if your car breaks down or your computer crashes, the Capricorn in your life will help you fix it without drama.
The without drama part is the most important part.
It is the medicine. They won't panic with you. They won't fuel your anxiety. They will just hand you the wrench or Google the solution or make the phone call. They respect your need for perfection, but they help you stay calm when things inevitably go wrong.
So find a Capricorn and stick to them like glue.
They are your rock this week, your anchor in the storm.
Now, on the flip side, the worst match. This week, it's Gemini.
Oh, Gemini. Poor Gemini.
Why is this such a bad mix for Virgo right now?
This is fascinating astrologically. Both Virgo and Gemini are ruled by the same planet, Mercury.
So they're siblings, in a way. They share a parent.
They are, but they express that Mercury energy in wildly different ways. Virgo is Mercury as the analyst, the editor, the librarian. Gemini is Mercury as the messenger, the gossip, the butterfly flitting from flower to flower.
And because Mercury is under so much stress this week.
It's double the chaos. If you try to rely on a Gemini this week, you are doubling down on the exact chaotic, scattered energy you are desperately trying to avoid.
The data actually says Gemini represents the chaos you are trying to avoid.
Specifically, it's their tendency to change their mind.
They might change their mind 5 times in one day.
And that absolutely ruins the Virgo schedule. It drives them crazy. You cannot plan around a Gemini this week. They are just too scattered by these transits.
And what about their behavior?
Gossiping, talking too much when you need to focus, bringing you distracting information. The friction comes from your deep need for order versus their deep need for variety and stimulation.
The data warns. You will find them unreliable and scattered. That is harsh, but very clear.
It's a self-preservation warning. It is genuinely better to work alone this week than to rely on a Gemini to help you. They don't mean to let you down, but the transits suggest they likely will.
So love the Geminis in your life, but love them from a distance this week.
A safe, quiet, predictable distance.
This has been an incredibly detailed look at the week ahead. Let's recap the survival guide before we go, just to put it all together.
Okay, the elevator pitch for the Virgos week.
Monday and Tuesday. Work hard. Go full throttle. Use that moon in Virgo clarity. Fix relationships. Get ahead.
Wednesday and Thursday, and specifically February 5th. Hide. Back up your data. Breathe through the chaos. Do not fight the glitches. Lower all expectations.
Friday through Sunday. Shift from head to heart. Let the creativity flow. Let your partner lead. Be flexible.
And watch the wallet. No emotional spending, and absolutely no long-term contracts.
And keep an eye out for that navy blue color and those number 5s appearing.
That's the formula for survival, and maybe even thriving.
As we wrap up, what is the final thought here? We've talked so much about disruption and chaos. What's the takeaway?
You know, we often fear these Uranian weeks. The squares, the shocks, they're annoying. Let's be honest, nobody likes the routine broken. But if we zoom out and connect this to the bigger picture, these weeks are necessary. They really are.
How so?
They break us out of ruts we didn't even know we were stuck in. If the computer didn't break, maybe you wouldn't have finally learned the new better system. If the plan wasn't canceled, maybe you wouldn't have stumbled upon that amazing, spontaneous adventure. The chaos is often just the universe rearranging the furniture in your life to make room for something better.
That's a great perspective. The glitch is a feature, not a bug.
Sometimes, yes, it's a feature of your evolution.
Thank you so much for breaking all of this down with us. This has been a fascinating and, I think, very helpful look at the stars for our Virgo friends.
It was my pleasure. It's a big week.
And thank you to you, the listener, for tuning in to this episode on Horoscope TV. We hope this guide helps you navigate the week of February 2nd with a little more grace and a lot less stress.
We will see you next time.
If you found this helpful, please subscribe so you can get notified when the next astrological update is available. Until then, keep looking up.